Okay, so hello and welcome everyone to our Python Foundation course, which kind of has already been covered, And in last session, we have also seen data structures and machine learning to some extent. But in this session, we'll be going a step ahead. And first, we'll take data structures and discuss what should be your strategy to get good with data structures and how you can prepare yourself for placements. I know you still have time, but same thing you can apply for your internships as well. So first thing first, if you're just getting started with the data structures, I would recommend you code chef. Okay, I would recommend code chef. Code chef. So code chef, practice. Go to practice and click on this practice and learn, and from here you have beginners, easy, medium, hard. So start with beginners and get started with all these questions. And by now, those who all have been attending my sessions regularly, I'm sure you guys can easily solve these problems. Okay, if I open one, add two numbers, so you'll have to start from here for those of you who are just starting, and for those of you who are comfortable with easy problems and they think that they can code, they have already started coding. What they'll have to do is they'll have to start with long challenges. Okay, go to competitions and okay, let's go to future contests. So in this, you'll see long challenges. What do I mean by long challenges? Is basically challenges which are going for longer period of time. Okay, so try and participate in those. So challenges like, oh, this is too long, right? This is for 10 days. Okay, so these kind of challenges you can take part in. And why am I saying these challenges? See, April challenge, similar challenge will be happening in May as well. So do participate in these challenges. And this is for those of you who have covered easy problems, who are done with these practice problems. Okay, who are done with these practice problems to some extent, and they feel they can code, and they read these problems and they are able to understand what does this input mean, output mean, and they have tried submitting few solutions on online platforms like this code chef, and they were able to get good accuracies. What do I mean by accuracy is, let's say you are submitting 10 solutions and out of them 4 or 5 times you were getting the right result, and you were able to solve it after some effort. So those people can move to long challenges like these, which go run for 10 days, 15 days, 30 days, not more than that, 10 13 days, that's it. And you can go here, compete all running contests and all future contests. So in all running, you'll see these are the ones which are running. Upcoming are here. So these are other challenges which are okay. Even you can participate in single day challenges as well. But I would highly recommend definitely take part in these April challenges, because the idea is you guys still have time and you should be good with data structures. And the reason why I'm recommending these long challenges is because for these 10 days, if you're diligently interested or diligently working towards data structures, then for these 10 days your mind will be completely occupied by the questions that you see. And at result of that will be, you'll read out a lot of blogs, you'll try to solve those problems, or you'll search for answers. And while you're doing this, in those 10-20 days, what you'll see is you have learned a lot, you have explored a lot, and you have improved yourself a lot. So that's the reason why I'm recommending you to start next step. So first is these practice questions, easy, beginner, medium. Pick few questions out of these, 10 questions, 10 20 questions of each category, and then move on to long challenges, these kind of long challenges. Okay, so once you are done with these and you feel you're comfortable with all of these, next thing comes is you can start taking participation, or you can start participating in Google Code Jam. think it's that. Okay, code jam. ACM-ICPC. Okay, just go and read about this. It's an international collegiate programming contest. It's a highly prestigious competition. It's an international program. It's like an Olympiad, and a lot of companies already know this, and they they look for people who are good in programming, and this works as a proof that you were really good if you get a good rank here. And and why am I saying that is because I and Abhilash sir, we were together at ACM-ICPC. We represented our college at regionals. So we were at Kolkata, I guess, though we were selected for Amritapuri as well, but we didn't go there. We went to Kolkata and we stood 37th. So in regionals, that was in India. So I think that's a decent rank. So similarly, you guys can try, though we couldn't make it to internationals, but we were at India level, but that was fine. So it's a good contest. You guys can see and prepare yourself for this. Okay. This is how you can keep testing where exactly you are, because it's all competition. I don't want to tell you that you should compete, but this is how the world is right now. You'll have to compete. So if you have to, then start with these. Google Code Jam also. You can register yourself. I think it is over for this year, but let me see. Yeah, I think 2020. Okay, it's in progress. It's in progress, but I don't know if you can register yourself now or not. Okay, I think it's going on. Looks like it's going on. I'm not sure, but check this out. Okay, guys, check it out. Or I think round 1A has been completed. B is going on. So you can check this out. You have Facebook Hacker Cup, I guess. Hacker Cup. Facebook Hacker Cup. So this is another competition that you can take part in. So these are the most prestigious ones. There are a lot others as well, but these are the prestigious ones that you can take part in. ACM-ICPC is different. Okay, this is not like Google and Facebook. Google and Facebooks are for these companies only, but ACM-ICPC is an international collegiate programming contest. So this is must. You guys should take part in this. And plus, this is very college specific. Let's say you are a good coder in your college. So you can form a team with 3 more people. So in all, I guess 3 people are allowed in a team. Just check the rules. I don't remember what exactly it is right now. They might have been updated. We represented in 16, I guess, 15 or 16, 15 December 2015. Yeah, it's on 15 December-ish, somewhere around December. So it has been 5-6 years now. So you guys can go and check out their website. But the best thing is, from each college, one team can get selected. Okay, at least one team will get selected. So that's the idea. If you're a college registered for ACM-ICPC, at least one team will get registered. So you have a competitive advantage over all those people who don't know about this. So okay, so yeah, from first year itself, you can start forming your teams. And if you already know this, then I hope and I urge you to participate in this. This is highly prestigious. If somebody sees that you have represented in ACM-ICPC, that itself is a big thing. Sorry. Next is Hacker Cup. You can participate in Hacker Cup. So basically these are just to see where you stand on global level. Plus, anyways, if you win them, this is also again very prestigious. Same as Google Code Jam. Okay, so these are few competitions you can keep an eye on, keep in your bucket list, and try to participate in these at least once during your 4-year course. Then I think this is clear. Try with these first. Start from this. Start with long, and once you are done with this, now you are at a stage where if you're given time 2 hours, 3 hours, then you can definitely solve a problem. Somehow you'll solve it. You're at that level now. You're confident that I know concepts that will be used. I know how the problems are structured now, and you feel now I'm at a place where I can solve questions, and I'm not in a hurry to look for an internship or get into a placement right now. So at that particular point in time, what you can get started with is code forces. These are 2-hour contests, 2 hour. So you'll have to sit straight 2 hours and participate in these contests. And this is more for speed building. So the right time to get started with them is a few months before, your internships. When you're targeting internships, good internships, where you'll have to give these coding exams to crack those internships. So at those places, before 6 month ish before the actual exam, you can get started with code forces. This is for speed building. So this will help you, build your speed. This will give you a sense of timing, that you just given you are in a time bound environment and you have to solve something. But if you, plus along with that, if you feel that you're doing okay on these beginners and you're doing okay on these long challenges, if you still want to parallelly build your speed, you can always consider taking part in code forces short contests, which are for 2 hours. Today it will be happening, so if you guys want, you can just give it a try, but I won't recommend. I would say just don't get stick to it. Okay, this is the best approach for those who are starting. Easy problems, and then go to long challenges, and at the end start with this. In parallel, ACM-ICPC, Hacker Cup, Google Code Jam, whatever keep coming, you can keep taking part in that. Okay, but these are more for fun and speed. But actual learning will come from long challenges. Okay, so this is the strategy that you guys can use. If you have any questions on this, you can ask questions. But this is what you guys should do. Plus, read lot and lots of blogs. And now you'll be saying, sir, I can't just go out and randomly start reading blogs. So that's why I was saying what you can do is you can go to these previous problems. Focus on dev 3. Okay, don't start with dev 2. If you think you're not very good at programming, just don't start with dev 2. Maybe you will get demotivated. You'll see that I'm not able to even solve one question, and you might start feeling bad. So start with dev 3. So what you can do is you can go in the previous contests, enter in there, and see the problems and start solving them. Read the input, output, write your own problem, or choose a file. Oh, I don't want this, and upload it here. Okay, so this is how you can get started with. Same with the code chef, ATM problem. Submit. Okay, attach a file, submit, solve it. So I think you guys can explore this though yourself, but that's the idea. And pick questions. Go to the editorials. Once the contest is completed, go to the editorial. In editorial, they'll be solving these questions, and they'll be sharing the results with you. Not results, basically the approach how you can solve this. Plus, once you're reading those solutions, you can go on internet and search how you can solve that problem in a different way. What is the algorithm using which we can solve these problems? So those sort of things you can get started with. Plus, you can go to classroom study blogs as well. We have a lot of blogs written here, but it will be kind of a bit difficult for you to grasp these. I would recommend you to go it structurally. Otherwise, you'll keep hopping from one concept to another. But in free time, just for knowledge purpose, you can go and read through them. Even GFG is good, so you can go there as well and read some things. But don't get strict to that. Okay, don't think that I'll just read GFG and I'll be good. No, that's not the right way. You can do that, but I don't know, that won't be good for long term. Okay, so am I missing anything? You want any specific thing that I should answer with respect to coding, with respect to preparation? And somebody was asking important questions. Go to GFG, Amazon import interview questions. Okay. You already have them over here. A lot of people keep contributing. So go there, pick them, solve them. You should be good. Okay, so don't worry about that. So I hope that I answered Arpita your question as well. So Google, you should know how to use Google. Google is the best thing, but it has its own limitations as well. So for everything, you cannot just go and Google. Okay. Any specific questions, guys? Because this is what you should go ahead with. If you have any specific questions, you can ask, because whatever I just said, it was kind of journal to all of you. But if you have specific things, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll move on to some concepts of machine learning and show you what are the prerequisites, how you can get started with. I've already listed down those steps. So I'll start sharing that. Any questions before we move on to ML? No, yes, no. No questions. Okay, just a beginner. I think we should start from Code Chef. Yes. So somebody's saying, if I'm a beginner, yes, you should start from Code Chef. That's the right place to get started with, because you have a lot of practice questions over there. You see, the list of practice questions is huge. So get started from there and start building your concepts. Plus, if you think you don't have time and you want everything very structurally, then you always have an option to join courses. But though we at Classroom Study, we are for profit, and if you ask me on a professional level, I would definitely say, okay, please join our courses and do that. But personally, I would say, if you have time, you can learn yourself as well, and that's kind of better. But if you need a placement kind of a support, that you're feeling that I think we don't have time left, and I have to cover data structures and algorithm quickly, that's when you should look for courses. Okay, so somebody is asking, what is the right language that we should use for these contests? So again, there's no right and wrong. If you want to become a Java developer, if you want to get started with Bootstrap web development frameworks, Bootstrap is a web development framework for Java. Okay, so if you want to get started with that and you're more inclined towards that, go ahead with Java. If you think that you want to get in line with what your college is teaching you, then you can go ahead with C++. But if you think that you want to get into machine learning, data engineering, IoT and that stuff, you can get started with machine learning. Oh, sorry, you can get started with Python. You can code in Python. Whatever you do, you need coding. So whatever your end goal is, depending upon that, you can choose your programming language. So I use Python, but Abhilasha uses C++. There are people who love Java. So it's totally dependent on you. But if you're just getting started, you can get started with Java, C++ as well, because I think that's part of your course curriculum as well. But Python is also good. Yeah, that will be a little difficult for me, because it's like taking a decision on your behalf, for which I'm not responsible at all. So that will be difficult for you, because you see, if I take a decision on behalf of you for which I'm not responsible, and I might say something, but that won't make sense for you. So that's something you will have to decide. I can give you some pointers on basis of which you can define which language you should choose. I hope that helps. Okay, good. Anything else? No, yes. Okay, yes, there is one question, sir. There are so many languages, like there's so many languages to learn, like Kotlin, Python, PHP. Forget PHP, okay? Don't learn PHP at all. JavaScript, that also have many frameworks. Yeah, Golang, Java, right? So your question, what's your question? So which one should we choose, and what should we go ahead with? That's your question, Aditya? Yes. So, that's tricky. I'll tell you how things work. Okay, let me open Paint. I think that will help you to, decide what you should choose. This will be interesting. Okay, so this is backend. Excuse me for my language, okay? Oh, for my handwriting or language. This is backend. What is backend? You have REST APIs here. Now, what is REST API? REST APIs are like the services, or you can say you write a program, right? You write certain lines of program. So you package this program using a web framework. Oh, that looks so bad. Basically, it's web framework. Okay, you package your line of code in using a web framework, create a REST API out of it, and you call it as your backend services. I'm not getting into DevOps right now. Okay, that's somewhere here. Go in. Fine, ho gaya. Here you'll have your backend, your infrastructure, where you'll have DevOps. I've already discussed what DevOps is, where all your server setup and everything comes in. Okay, so over there you can use Python. No, let's not say that. Okay, let's not say that. That's just infrastructure. Okay, don't get confused. That is infrastructure. This is your backend. Basically, this is where your logic is. This is what you have learned till now. Programming. You program it. You use a web development framework. You package your code, create REST APIs, and form those REST APIs. Now there's something called front end. Oh, front end. JavaScript. So bad. Looks like. Okay, so this is JavaScript. This is where you have JavaScript, Node, Angular, all these, your Kotlin, Android, all these form here, front end. Now, what you see these entries over here, these values, this data is coming from backend REST APIs to front end, and using front end, you're displaying it. You click on this, something happens. Okay, a new page opens up. There's a REST call that goes back in here, which says, I want this data. It says, okay, take it. This backend, this code here that you have written is attaching to a database. DB, database. There can be different databases, SQL databases, NoSQL databases. Okay, I'm just giving you pointers. You go ahead, go home, and search these on Google. What exactly these are? SQL and NoSQL. Depending upon your use case, you'll use SQL, NoSQL databases. Now, what will be stored in this database? This information that you are seeing, a lot of this has to be stored somewhere, right? So where will you store that? You store it here. A REST call comes in. It looks for certain data, certain values. Your code gets executed. This code pulls the data from database, processes it, returns it to the front end, and you display it here. This is the entire cycle. Plus, in between here, you will have middle layer nowadays, where you will have Nginx. Plus, if you are using Python to write your backend, okay, this backend code, if you're writing in Python framework, one of these web framework is Flask. A lot of you might have heard about Django. That's also one. Plus, for Java, It will be Bootstrap. Bootstrap for Java. You use Nginx over here. It works as a load balancer, reverse proxy. Along with this, for Python, you can use UWSGI to make your Python is not having multi-threading by default. Okay, you want to execute multiple Python processes, multiple REST APIs of a same service in parallel. You use UWSGI. Don't get confused if you're not able to understand it completely. Okay, I understand it will be a little difficult, but I'm just giving you a whole picture. So this is all what you need if you want to become a front-end developer. Plus, where is my machine learning sitting? Your machine learning is sitting here. Backend, basically backend. You have your machine learning models here, ML models. So those all will be written in Python. That's when you'll use your Flask framework to prepare this entire backend thing. Once your backend is ready, front end can be anything. Use PHP. Want to use PHP? Use PHP for front end. Want to use JavaScript? Use JavaScript. Want to use Android? Kotlin? Use whichever language you want. But for this, if it's machine learning based, highly recommend you Python. Why am I recommending you Python? Because wherever you will go, if you're working on a machine learning project and you want to create this entire thing, okay, you'll need Python. But there are a lot of companies who are doing this entire thing, like Amazon. Amazon, I think they heavily use Java. They also use Python, but Java also is being used there. Oracle uses Java. I was there with Oracle. You know, they used to use Java, but my project was Python based. So this is how it is. So yeah, that's how it is. You have Bootstrap over here. This Bootstrap framework. This is equivalent to Flask framework. This is your web development framework. Basically, once you have your REST APIs, right? You can just write the front end, consume these REST APIs, and create your websites. Plus, you can have load balancers here in between to balance your load. Then the entire cloud thing comes in here. This piece, infrastructure. This is all cloud. You have EKS cluster, Kubernetes, Docker, all those kind of things, you know, coming in picture. Those things sit here. They'll help you balance the load. Companies like YouTube, Facebook, or any other organization for that sort, who are having lots and lots of transactional data, and people keep hitting their websites very usually. They have very high traffic. They use load balancers, because if you have one instance, one machine which is serving all the users, then there can be an outage. A lot of times you see Google Gmail had an outage. Why? Because a lot of people started accessing it, and the number of servers that were running for supporting that application were not able to handle the load, and there was an outage. The servers went down. The moment servers go down, application goes down. And you see, front end wise, you keep seeing some messages. Why? Because this link is there. REST APIs are not able to get the data in, but the front end service, the front end thing that you see, to some extent it's there. So that's when this happens. This diagrams look a little bad now. Let me just make it more clear. So any questions on this? I think this was a great discussion. Personally, I'm loving it. Okay, so what about you guys? I know you might have not understood a lot of things, but this is how it is. Any questions? Okay. So Aditya is saying why programmers don't like PHP. There are so many memes about it. You know, it's kind of archaic. I should not say that. Okay, it's kind of old, and there are a lot of new things which have come up, which are more advanced, more easy to use. That's one. Plus, it's about all the latest development is happening in the latest technology, like JavaScript people use, or people will use Node.js, Angular. Plus, you have React Native. Using React Native, you can create app UIs or front end, which can be used on uh, your Apple iOS as well as Android. So because of these new technologies, nobody wants to get into PHP. That's the reason people don't like it. Plus, if you get into these older technologies, you'll get paid less. Second, nobody will be looking to use this technology in future. So programmers keep thinking, oh no, there'll be no employability for me if I continue working on this. Third, community support. There are very few people, if this transition starts to happen, there'll be very few people who are still working on PHP, and as a result, you won't find solutions for PHP on Stack Overflow, on internet. So because of which the community support gets reduced, and that becomes a very challenging. Plus, why Python is becoming very popular? Because of its community. When a lot of people work on the same thing, what happens is, let's say when you're solving your problem in industry, or you're trying to build some software and you're having any challenges, what you'll do, you'll go and search on Stack Overflow, and there are a lot of chances that you'll definitely find a solution if you're using Java, Python, or any other programming language, or any other infrastructure related thing, front end related thing, if its community is strong. So that's why it also depends upon how strong the community is. When I say community, programmers, how many programmers are involved with that particular programming language. So that's why you see a lot of companies who come up with new programming languages, a lot of foundations who come up with new programming language. They try to make it really simple because they want a lot of people to adopt it. And the moment people adopt it, people don't want to let it go. That's what's happening with PHP. So people don't want to use it anymore. That's why community support is decreasing, and it's kind of a ripple effect, because of which people kind of don't like it anymore. Though you'll see a lot of code is still there in PHP, and a lot of people still like PHP, and they use it. But the number of people who still work on PHP is reducing. People don't like it. Yeah, that's the reason. So whatever you don't like, you don't want to do it, right? That's the only thing. Because everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to lose. So yeah, I hope I was able to help. But, okay. Anything else, or should I start with this? Okay, this seems to be good. See, a lot of things that I'm talking about, you might not be able to understand. Okay, but don't shy away from hearing these out. This will somehow help you. Somewhere down the line, it will help you. Definitely help you. But the thing is, if you think that you're not able to understand, ask questions, because whatever I'm saying, I know this, so it won't make any difference. Okay, see, there's another question. Good. When I was in graduation, okay. So yeah, when I was in graduation, I was so much confused. Which language should I take right now? I'm in PG. I'm still confused. Good. Seniors advise knowledge of every language is good, but you should master in one language. Yeah, that's good. That's right. So the question is, which language should I choose? Again, that's so. Don't worry too much about language. Okay, honestly, I'll tell you. I'll tell you my story. What happened with me? I started with C++ because that was something which we were trained in during our schools. In 12th itself, I had computers. So 11th, 12th, I had computers with the C, I guess it was C. Then when I went to college over there, we had C++. So I was kind of tuned towards C++. I was kind of biased. And during my college days, I used to code in C++. But over a period of time, when I entered into industry, I somehow started working on machine learning related projects. And since then, last 4.5 years, I have been using Python. So, plus I know JavaScript as well. If required, to some extent, I know Java as well. But if you ask me which language I frequently use, I use Python because it has a lot of libraries which I can directly use. Plus, it's very similar to English language, and there's not much to remember in terms of syntax and all. So that's why I started using Python. But initially, I was C++ developer. So it's completely on you. Nobody is gonna judge you on the language that you use. So Python, Java, C++, whichever you feel comfortable with, start using that. Now, if you say I'm good at Golang, that's something I won't be able to comment on. If you want to learn Golang, that's good, but one among C++, Java, you should definitely know, and after that you can learn whichever language you want. Plus, learning a language is not a big deal. Okay, I must tell you this: 10 days, you're done. 10 days and you're done. That's it. So don't worry, pick a language, continue. Focus on development, focus on DSA, you should be good. And trust me, there's a lot of challenges in getting a placement. Okay, people who are not into placements, for them it's good, it's fine. But people who are, they have to, they have to work hard and get it. And what do I mean by work hard? Get started with DSA, look for organizations, look for companies, and if your college is kind of where companies are not coming, then you should be good at development as well. Otherwise, it will get a little tricky, okay, if you just keep doing DSA. DSA is very important. DSA is a priority. But if you are from a college where you see there are not a lot of companies coming in, then you have to either go for ICPC or go get a good rank in Hacker Cup, or go for some Kaggle competitions. You'll have to do something different. Otherwise, it's difficult. I'm not demotivating you, but I'm telling you the reality. If you want me to motivate, I can do that, but that's the reality. If you work on this, then it will really help. Sir, one more questions. Can we do web development with C++? I don't think so. Don't think of web development with C++. Either go with Java or Python. Standard is Java. Web development backend. Okay, I'm talking about web development backend. Java. Go with Java. Aditya, it's for your question. So Aditya is saying, can we do web development with C++? No, go with Java. Or if you are into data science as well, go with Python. Goody good. Anything else? Okay. Let me give you some background of machine learning for those of you who want to get started with machine learning. These are few things that you guys can keep in mind. You need to learn and install Python 3, or Python 2 also works, but I would recommend Python 3. Then choose one of the IEDs. Once you are done with this, mostly people use Jupyter Notebook or PyCharm, but there's others like Spider as well. You can choose whichever you want to use. Then you need to learn these libraries, Numpy and Pandas. Okay. And if you want to learn something, best way is going to the documentation. I think I have already told this to you guys. Documentation, Numpy documentation. Go here. So basically, you will find all the all the functions available here in this NumPy. What is NumPy? Quick start, absolute design, tutorial. So API reference, how you can use the APIs. So documentation is the best place. But along with this, you can go to tutorial point or W3 schools, or if you want to speed up the process, join a machine learning course and you'll be good. But yeah, all these courses are just for speed. Okay, you don't want to waste your time. and you have money to spend. So it's a trade-off between time and money. If you have money to spend and you don't want to waste time of yours, you want somebody to do the research for you and just get the knowledge and move forward, then you go for courses. But if you feel that if you don't have enough money to spend on courses and you don't want, or you don't want to spend money, then you do your own research or get some free content available out there and read out from there. So that's how you do it. Okay, so that's about NumPy. Next would be pandas. Pandas and NumPy. Why are they important? NumPy is mostly for a complex mathematical operations. So it makes it really time efficient and easy for processing large computational multiplication kind of, or I should say operational things, large operations when you're performing. So that's why we use NumPy, because in machine learning, it's all maths, right? This is what we discussed in last class as well, right? Maths. So it's all maths. So that's why you need external libraries which can help you perform optimized mathematics. So that's why you use NumPy. Pandas you use mostly for structuring your data into some format, creating data frames and all. You use pandas. Once you have pandas, NumPy, it's just to explore. Okay, don't get into these and keep learning these for many days. Just invest 2 to 3 days in this, learn, and you should be good. Then next thing is scikit-learn. Scikit-learn is another library where you already have, you remember we have talked about modules and packages. Similarly, you have one package called scikit-learn, which will be uh, already available to you in your Python distribution. Or if it is not, I don't think it will be available. What you'll have to do is you'll have to install it using a package manager called pip. You do pip install scikit-learn and it will get installed. Okay. And once you install this package, there'll be a lot of machine learning algorithms which will come automatically along with this. You can use them, you can get some data into them, train them, and you should be good. Once you have your machine learning model, your code ready, you use Flask, your web development framework, you create REST APIs, and you are ready to serve your end users. Once you have that, you need code versioning. You need to submit your code somewhere so that you can keep a track of the changes that you are making. Otherwise, if you keep making changes in your local, after some time you'll realize that you don't know which change is doing what, because you have made so many changes. So that's when Bitbucket or GitHub comes into play. This is for code versioning. I hope every one of you has a GitHub account. If not, get one, and whatever project you do, just check in your code in there. Okay, submit your code there, so that when you are going for placements, or when you're preparing for jobs, you can paste your GitHub project links in the resume itself, so that if any interviewer wants to go and check out your GitHub repository, they'll be able to see what all projects you have done in real. Because everybody knows, if you write C++ library building, or HRM software I built using C, then everybody knows those all are fake projects. Everybody knows that. People just don't say that, but they can easily make that out. So it's always important to make sure your projects look authentic when you have some code, and that code is there in GitHub or Bitbucket, and you paste that URL along with the resume or the project that you have worked on. Okay, so basically the idea is if that makes your project more authentic if you have a GitHub code, or if you have a code checked in the GitHub. I hope all of you know what GitHub is. If not, let me just quickly open it. Okay. So you see, this is GitHub repository. All these repositories, all these projects are kept here. So this is your code. Similarly, you should have your code in here, GitHub. Okay. This is how your code is placed. 3 years ago, there was one change. 14 months ago, there was some change. So this helps. This makes you more authentic. This makes it looks like that your project is more authentic. So once you have all this, oh sorry, next thing would be to deploy the code onto some servers. That's when DevOps tools like Docker comes into play. There is this application called Docker Desktop. Let me see if I have that. Docker, yeah, Docker Desktop. I think I have that, but I haven't installed it on this laptop. So Docker Desktop will kind of help you deploy your application into some virtual containers. Basically, you can go back and read the definition of Docker. It's like creating a machine or an environment which you can transfer to any other machine, whichever you want, and you will create the same application which you packaged. Basically, a lot of people used to have these challenges of environmental changes because of which their application is not running. That's when this concept of Docker came in. It kind of helps you or your application to run code independent of the environment changes. What do I mean by environment is, let's say you have a different version of Python, different version of Windows on your system, and you build an application on that. Now if you want to run on different desktop, different programming language version, then there is a lot of problems which keep occurring. So to get rid of that, the concept of Docker came in. Okay, so these are some prerequisites that you guys should go through step by step. I know a lot of you might not be able to understand this completely, but this is how you can get started with the machine learning to some extent. Okay, so I think that's it from my side. I don't have anything specific for this session today. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we are good to conclude.